On Saturday, we are celebrating the 70th anniversary of CBC Television. CBUT Channel 2 was the very first TV station to launch in Western Canada. Back in 1961, the station paid tribute to its history with a look back on the eve of the 25th anniversary of the CBC.
In 1952, the CBC began to make preparations for its Vancouver television station. It acquired a couple of old motor car sales rooms and garages at Georgia and Butte Streets and converted these into studios. On December 16, 1953, CBUT officially went on the air. That's Davidson Dunton pushing the button on a cue from Peter MacDonald, Director of Television. On our left is Kenneth Capel, CBC's Director for the province of British Columbia. The station's first big job was the Empire Games, held in the barely finished stadium. The following year, there was Vancouver's first Grey Cup game. Those things seem a long time ago now. So does Harmony House, only 7 years ago. That's Thora Anders in the middle. And here, in the middle, she's in some of those days, in 1961. It doesn't take long for a show to become some of those days in television. Here's Frank Vivian reliving radio days as a guest of Bill Bellman on Almanac. I don't mean vivid memories get blurred. It would be hard to forget Pat Suzuki's summer here, or the swift visit of Mimi Himes and 100 others with a strong identity, such as the wayfaring Ed McCurdy, let us say. Ed's the one in the hat. As for that special performer, Ripple Rock, that was vividness itself.
Look back at the very early days of CBC Television, broadcasting from Mount Seymour, still to this day. As we said, this Saturday we're celebrating 70 years of CBC Television, broadcast from our stations. And joining us for a walk down memory lane is someone who knows this place very well and made the history, his life's work, longtime CBC Archivist, Colin Preston. Thanks for coming in. Good to see you.
Nice to see you, Dan.
What goes through your mind when you see those old programs? I mean, that was a long time ago.
Well, Ripple Rock was a blast, wasn't it? And I think about how the transmission of the British Empire Games had to go down to Washington State because we didn't have a cross-country connection then. But it was a lot of local talent making the shows and a lot of, as you heard from that little sting, a lot of people coming into town. Where Vancouver was great on the entertainment circle. Yeah. So we had actors, singers, all kinds of performers.
Very interesting. We want to play another clip for you now. This is a look at our newsroom in 1990. Take a look at this.
Can you cover that today?
I know we have a list of probably 7 or 8 stories that we'll most likely do, and then there's a number of meetings and things hopefully will happen more interesting than I've got on paper right now because there's no lead at this time of morning. It's a pretty slow day.
Morning.
Okay, let's meet.
Okay. Let's move right along. Elliot, today? Actually, there's a pretty big story this morning. Carol?
Just another check on with Fraser Valley, Chilliwack area, because we've had a lot of rain lately.
Okay, so take the three housing things as given.
Sorry.
Tuition can be reduced to a voiceover if we're getting tight on time.
Right. The housing situation is pretty desperate out there.
Absolutely desperate.
That, in their minds, is a crisis.
Bob Scragg works for Wall Financial.
These are the signs of the time. No room, nowhere to live.
No change-ups in the first section, so we're okay, right?
Stand by for the opening. 10, 9, 8.
Stand by to roll sound on VTR 7.
6,
Have a good show, everybody.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Roll 7, online.
From Vancouver,
Key. Ready to with
CBC
effects?
Evening News with Kevin Evans.
Dissolve.
Some amazing video there, some faces we still remember. Ian Hannah-Mansing among them. Wayne Williams, our former news director. Some people still active in this newsroom.
Absolutely.
What stands out to you there?
Well, to me, there's the technology. You like that Toshiba laptop,
Not bad.
the dot matrix printer, and of course, you would have been broadcasting down in the subterranean in the S floor.
That's right.
Studio. So it was all much. There's such an infrastructure, middle ground of technicians and cameramen. This was my era when I came in. I'd go to the daily news meetings, and we'd figure out what's to do. And of course, you'd have to figure out what kind of stock footage to pull out. So that was my kick at the can.
And of course, all of that was on literal tape, right?
It was all on videotape, except for the stuff that was on 16 mil film. Further down in the store in the vault, And then that would have to be quickly transferred to videotape to play back if there was some anniversary or something like that.
Interesting. Now we have another clip. We're going to go back to 1960 in a drama production called Caribou Country. Check this out.
Yeah, I suppose I was the only man who knew anything about television. I bought one of the first television sets to come to Vancouver. Present for my daughter. I went out to her house one night and looked at it. I didn't like it. Never looked at it again. But like I say, I knew what it was all about, and that made me a very valuable man to Sam Levine when he came up to arrange the special 1st of July broadcast. Now, we were tied into the National Television Network by means of a special traveling transmitter they got. First there was Newfoundland, then Ottawa, then us, and then Moose Jaw. Now, you understand that in television, time is everything. Things have got to go off on schedule. I knew that. Sam Levine knew that. But did any cowboy in the Namco country know that? No, sir.
A very, very early show produced by the CBC. Colin, what is groundbreaking for you about that?
Oh, to me, this is just tugs at every bit of BC heartstring that I have. It was produced by Phil Keatley, who was such an important person in the history of British Columbia broadcasting. This was the prototype for Beachcombers. So in terms of the production model, it left the studio and went up to the Caribou to shoot on location. Tremendous. This is where Chief Dan George got his acting start.
Amazing.
So there's just, it goes on, and it was all local actors, local writer Paul St. Pierre. These are important people that must never be forgotten. I'm just so lucky to have worked and to known some of these people.
That's amazing. And we have one more clip to share with you. It wasn't just news and shows that the CBC was producing. There was a lot of entertainment as well. Let's take a look and listen to a legendary British Columbian and go all the way back to June 26th, 1955.
Now that you have your music, Eleanor, I'll move along.
Chris?
Yes.
Well, you know, that's the funny part about musicians. They're always starting something. Like maybe an introduction. Love me or leave me, but let me be lonely. You won't believe me, but I love you only. I'd rather be lonely than happy with somebody else.
The legend herself, Eleanor Collins. And Eleanor Collins still going strong today, 104 years young. And big shout out to her and her family. Besides the dynamic voice, Colin, what else, when you see that, made Eleanor so groundbreaking here on CBC TV?
Well, there was just the sense that, first of all, the first person of color to host a network show and the Eleanor Show. But it was just the talent and the tone of her and the kind of people that she brought on, that she worked with everybody. Chris Gage is forgotten by many, many people. He died far too soon, but just the kind of exquisite music that was on. She was doing radio, of course, beforehand. But television was just a dream. And to have met her, to have her come in to do little screenings here, it was just a joy for me.
That is awesome. It's such happy memories, so many memories, and we really appreciate you sharing this history with us. You are the man to talk to. Colin, Preston, thanks so much.
Thank you, Dan.